Hey guys. The way something can just drop online and change the whole mood, it's wild. That's exactly what happened when Sonia posted on Instagram. I saw it and had to stop scrolling. This wasn't a casual post at all, it felt like she was speaking from somewhere deep. She told women to stop tying their worth to what they give in relationships, and to stop making themselves smaller for men who won't even include them in their plans. The way she wrote it, you could almost hear the firmness in her voice. People rushed to comment, some agreeing loudly, others quietly thinking. But the energy around it was heavy, like there was a personal story under the surface. It didn't read like random advice, it read like someone had been through something real. And you know how it is when a post feels personal, everyone starts to guess who or what it's about. Even without naming names, she had people's minds spinning. The mix of truth, experience, and unspoken meaning kept it alive in conversations. Honestly, this was more than a post, it was a statement. And once something like that lands, it doesn't just disappear the next day. People will keep talking. The minute that post began to spread, one thought started crossing people's minds: Maurice Sam. Their relationship used to be that picture-perfect love story that people admired. They had those sweet photos, the interviews that showed their chemistry, and that aura of a strong couple. Then, suddenly, it was over. No press statements, no explanations, just silence. Fans who followed them felt the shock. So when Sonia's post came, with those words about not shrinking for anyone and choosing yourself first, people couldn't help making connections. She didn't say his name, she didn't even hint directly, but the timing made it feel like it could be related. Some fans even went back to old posts, reading captions differently, looking for clues they might have missed. That's the thing about social media, it remembers. Whether it was about Maurice or not, the post carried that energy of someone who has walked away and found clarity. And for people watching from the outside, it was impossible not to link the past to the present. It's that kind of unspoken connection that makes gist travel even faster. You're not told the story directly, but you feel like you've been handed pieces of the puzzle. Sonia's message about choosing yourself wasn't soft or indirect, it was strong and straight to the point. She told women to protect their peace, to love themselves more than the idea of a future with someone else. The way she said it made you feel she wasn't just talking for the sake of it, she's lived it. Walking away is never easy, especially when emotions are involved, but her post sounded like it came from someone who has done exactly that. The reactions were quick, women sharing it to their own pages, tagging friends, and writing how it gave them courage. It wasn't coated in sweet words, it was raw, simple truth. For some, it felt like empowerment. For others, it sounded like closure to an old chapter. Even though she didn't explain what led to those words, people didn't need details to feel the weight of it. That's the thing about certain life lessons, when they come from someone who's been through the storm, they land differently. This wasn't just a reminder, it was a wake-up call. And judging by how far and fast it spread, it clearly hit home for many. The kind of advice that lingers. Now let's shift gears to Pearl. Her name still gets attention online, but the reaction is changing. There was a time when anything connected to her would blow up instantly. But lately, it's like people are taking a step back before reacting. More and more, she's seen as someone who uses drama to stay in the conversation, and that's starting to shape how her story spread. Instead of quick excitement, there's now this wait-and-see attitude. People remember past incidents where things became big but ended without solid proof. That history is making audiences more cautious. It's not that she's ignored, her name still poses interest, but it's no longer automatic trust. Each new claim now faces a kind of silent test before it's accepted. This kind of shift in public perception is gradual but powerful. When people start hesitating before engaging, it changes the whole dynamic. And for someone who thrives on being at the center of gist, that's a tough spot to be in. Attention is still there, but it's more controlled. The days of instant, unquestioning reactions seem to be fading, and in the world of online buzz, that's a sign of something bigger. The clearest sign of this change was the recent rumor claiming Pearl was pregnant for Maurice Sam. Normally, a gist like that would set the internet on fire. People would be posting non-stop, debating in comments, and sharing screenshots everywhere. But this time, it barely lasted. Within hours, most people had dismissed it. There was no long back and forth, no major build-up, just a quick, collective decision that it wasn't worth the energy. And that's rare for such a big-sounding claim. For Pearl, it might have been a moment that showed how different things have become. When a rumor like that dies so quickly, it says something about how much weight people give your name now. Before, her involvement in any gist would keep it alive for days. Now, without solid proof, the spark dies before it even turns into a fire. In the world of gossip, speed matters. If people don't keep talking, the story fades, and this one faded fast. It's a reminder that credibility and influence can slip quietly, and by the time you notice, the audience's attention has already moved somewhere else. Once that happens, pulling them back isn't always easy. That whole pregnancy rumor also showed how fans have changed. These days, nobody's taking anything at face value. If there's no clear video, no screenshot, no real confirmation, people just scroll past. It's almost like they've built a filter that blocks unproven gist before it even settles in. That makes it harder for anyone who survives on speculation to stay relevant. For Pearl, it means that every story about her now faces higher scrutiny before people take it seriously. For the audience, it's a form of self-protection. They don't want to get caught up in something that ends up having no truth. And honestly, it's changing how celebrity gist moves. Without proof, even the widest claims struggle to get traction. This shift is subtle but powerful. It's not that people don't enjoy a little drama, but they are being more careful about which ones they give their time to. Once you train an audience to expect receipts, they'll stop reacting to anything less. That's where things are now. And for someone whose name once thrived without needing proof, it's a whole new kind of challenge to keep people talking. Even though Pearl's influence seems to have dipped, there are still small whispers keeping certain stories alive. It's not loud or explosive, it's quiet talk. Fans notice little things, maybe a change in appearance, maybe a bit more closeness between certain people, maybe someone taking a sudden work break. Alone, these things don't prove anything, but together, they're enough to make people wonder. That's how a slow burn gist works. It's not about big headlines but about tiny details that keep eyes watching. For those paying close attention, every small shift feels like it could mean something bigger. It's a tricky stage, because it could either fade away or blow up if something concrete appears. Right now, it's just floating in that space where curiosity lives. And that can actually make it more interesting, because people start filling in the blanks themselves. Theories grow, small stories get linked together, and before you know it, the whispers start to feel like a bigger picture. Whether or not anything comes from it, the conversation stays alive simply because no one's sure what's really going on. This stage is what people call the rumor growth stage. There's no confirmation, no statement, but enough hints to keep everyone talking. It's like a puzzle where the pieces are scattered, and fans are trying to be the first to fit them together. Every small sighting, every tiny change in behavior, every unexplained move becomes part of the gist. The uncertainty is what makes it exciting. People don't actually know the truth, but they want to be ready if it ever comes out. It's a mix of entertainment and curiosity. For the people being talked about, it can be exhausting, because even normal actions get turned into signs. For the audience, it's just part of the fun. The danger here is that without new clues, the story can fade. But if something even slightly interesting drops, it can catch fire overnight. That's why this stage is so unpredictable. It can either vanish or turn into the biggest gist of the month. Right now, this one's still holding on, and as long as it does, people will keep watching closely. When you put it all together, Sonia's powerful Instagram post and Pearl's shifting place in the gist scene, it feels like two different stories running side by side. On one side, you have Sonia's bold call for self-worth, telling women to value themselves above any relationship. On the other, you have Pearl, whose ability to keep people talking seems to be slipping. It's almost like watching two opposite journeys at the same time. Sonia's voice is getting stronger, reaching more people, and inspiring conversations that last. Pearl's, meanwhile, feels like it's fighting against a tide of doubt. This contrast makes every new update more interesting, because the audience is invested in both stories for different reasons. And the fact that both names keep coming up means the gist isn't going anywhere soon. The energy around it is still alive, still shifting, and still leaving space for something new to happen. Nobody knows exactly what's next, but that uncertainty is what keeps everyone hooked. Sometimes, the anticipation of a twist is even more engaging than the twist itself. That's where this whole situation is right now, in that waiting space, with everyone's eyes still watching. Alright guys. That's all for now. Have a lovely day and bye.